Hi, my name is Kevin Donovan, and I'm a rising junior in the SFS, and this summer I'm working with Candles. And today I'm going to talk about Creative Commons and why open licensing makes sense for your learning and scholarship. Creative Commons is a nonprofit which provides free, easy-to-use legal tools that allow anyone, any creator, to indicate their permissions that they want associated with their creative work. And this came out of the realization that digital technologies allow creation to flourish in really ways that we've never seen before, making the cost of creation far lower and opening it up to far more people, except law, in this case copyright, seemed to stand in the way a lot of the time by inducing higher transaction costs and costs that weren't acceptable or were acceptable at one point when firms were the ones creating, but when individuals, or in our case teachers and students, are the ones creating, copyright can stand in the way and doesn't make sense for everyone. So where copyright is all rights reserved, Creative Commons is some rights reserved. It allows you to take a number of different choices in regards to your licensing and choose which you would like associated with your copyright. So all Creative Commons licenses have attribution. So regardless of what you choose, you're going to be attributed for your work that you create. Some have share alike, which means anyone who reuses your work, modifies it, has to share it in a similar fashion, or in the same fashion actually, as you do. Some have non-commercial clauses which say that if you want to use my work, then you're going to have to do it in a non-commercial way, which could be educational, which could be another non-profit way. And finally, there's a no derivative clause to many of them, which means that you have to have an exact copy of the work. So you have to use it verbatim, but you can reuse it and redistribute it for your purposes. So you get a set of 6 different licenses which allow you to really have more flexibility than the default copyright of all rights reserved typically allows. And since this was started a few years ago, it's really exploded, and you can see videos, images, music, audio files, texts. There are just hundreds of millions of works now licensed under Creative Commons licenses, which allow people to find the middle ground between no rights and all rights reserved. So why does Creative Commons really make sense for education, and especially as it moves online? There are a number of reasons, the first of which that we can highlight is that teaching and learning should be free of unnecessary legal constraints. While copyright's important for a lot of reasons, and it encourages creation in many fields, in teaching and learning it can often stand in the way. There was an American university study which said that because of over-complying with copyright, they found that teachers were avoiding the most effective techniques for education, and they were also ignoring cutting-edge tools which could be very useful in their field. The second is the belief that knowledge should be free. If we're really in the mission of educating the next generation, then we really need to do it in cast as wide of a net as we possibly can. So by freeing education from all rights reserved and allowing more people to get access to it, by allowing people to translate our work where copyright typically doesn't allow that to happen, by allowing people to redistribute it where we wouldn't be distributing it, and by allowing people to modify it and build upon it and improve upon it and provide feedback, we're freeing knowledge so that it can come back at even a higher quality. The third is that with digital technologies, the creator and the consumer has really not become clear. It's not a clear delineation anymore. Where in the past you had publishing houses and you had readers, now you have readers who are blogging about the books that they're reading while buying them and reposting portions, and it's a far more complicated ecosystem. And having a black and white solution like copyright often doesn't make sense. So Creative Commons allows you to have the option to really blur the line even further and make sense of the new reality. Another reason is that with an economy like academia that relies on reputation, you want to expose yourself as far as possible, and having an all rights reserved, as that American university study found, forces people to over-comply, or tends to have people that over-comply with copyright. So by having Creative Commons, you signify that you would like your work shared and increase your exposure, and that's something that can really come back to be beneficial to both students and teachers. Another reason is that, as Newton pointed out, creation invariably builds upon the past. He stood on the shoulders of giants. We all stand on the shoulders of those who went before us. And by limiting the restrictions that the law puts on our intellectual work, we can allow others to build upon us, and as you'll come to see in a little bit, you can really build upon others who are using Creative Commons as well. And as Jamie Boyle, who was one of the founding members of Creative Commons, law professor at Duke University, says, Creative Commons seeks to save the world from failed sharing. And what he means by that is not everyone wants all rights reserved. Quite frankly, it doesn't make sense for most people. Indeed, Creative Commons allows us to have more power over our work instead of the default that copyright keeps. So by using copyright, Creative Commons finds a middle ground and allows us to choose, would we like people to be able to translate, modify, improve, any number of different activities that they can take with our intellectual work. There's also a flip side to having Creative Commons around, and one that can be beneficial in another way. Because so many people have licensed their work under Creative Commons, there's a whole host of opportunities for students and teachers to find Creative Commons work that they can use more freely in their presentations, papers, blog posts, etc. So on the screen we have a number of different opportunities. Flickr will allow you to search Creative Commons photos, Google will allow you to do documents, CC Mixter, and OWL for music, so there are a ton of different ones, and on the CANDLE's website we'll have a resource available so that you can see, how can I find material that are legal to use. So if you have questions, feel free to get in touch and we'd love to help you out. Thanks very much.